Yeah, and you need to get to know them, because the first time you see them, you don't want the first time you see them to be asking for something.
That's right.
And it's all about relationships, and so you need to, support their campaigns if you can. Show up to their events. Put out signs for the ones that you believe in and that you like. Spend the time to volunteer in the campaign and support them. And then when you walk into their office, and they know that you invested and you care about them, and they'll be more likely to listen. I want to mention one other issue that I know a lot of folks have been following, and that's the federal farm bill recently.
I was getting ready to ask you about that.
Yeah, so that issue is in a pretty good place at this hour due to grassroots advocacy. And before we even engaged as an association, there was enough noise about this issue to have a real impact in Washington, D.C. So several weeks ago, I got a bunch of calls all at once from a variety of different people from all across the state that let me know about the amendment in the House Agriculture Committee, which is to add the Greyhound Protection Act into the federal farm bill. Now, in spirit, that law has some merit. They don't want greyhound racing. There's only 2 tracks in the United States.
In the United States,
in
there's
West Virginia.
2 tracks.
But, greyhound racing, not very popular, and so they wanted to outlaw greyhound racing, but the animal rights activists slipped in a provision in there that prohibited live lures and open field coursing, and it didn't define it. And so the way that was written would have 100% affected almost everything you do with a dog, whether it's a bird dog, a deer dog, or any type of dog. You train dogs with live animals. I mean, the duck hunting community is even bigger than the deer dog hunting community. You train duck dogs with live ducks at some point. And so that law would have outlawed that, and it would have outlawed field trials. Chasing live animals as a part of a field trial would have been outlawed. So it was very problematic. And I made several calls. I have a relation. I'm not a federal lobbyist. I don't get paid to lobby D.C., but I do know many of our congressmen just because they come from state politics and just kind of friendships over the years. So I called a few of them and their staff, and they, most of them knew about the issue. And this was several weeks ago, so they were alerted pretty early on to it.
1 million people saw my video.
There were a lot of folks, and I'm sure you had an impact on the fact that they
over
heard.
1 million people saw.
So they had already heard from their constituents and were working on a fix. And so over the next week or two, I stayed in touch, and what was agreed is that there would be a correction made in the House Rules Committee that would fix that portion of the Greyhound Protection Act to where it would not have those broader consequences. Now, we haven't had a federal farm bill since 2018, I'll tell you that. I don't know if we're going to have one this year or not. I wouldn't bet my house on it, that's for sure. It's running into some trouble right now over completely different issues, pesticide labeling and other things, and year-round E15. There's all kinds of issues that the farm bill contains. You got food stamps and everything else in it, and then not to mention the good stuff like the assistance for farmers, updating the crop schedules and the prices. There's a political will to get a farm bill done, but just like everything in D.C., there's a lot of roadblocks on a big omnibus bill like that. Hasn't been passed since 2018, and so we'll see if it can make it this year, but I have a good degree of confidence that if we have a farm act, I should say, they call it a farm bill at the state level, that provision will be corrected. But it's, again, something just like Senate Bill 220, you never take your eye off the ball. You get assurances, and just like Ronald Reagan said, trust but verify, and just, something we'll stay on top of. I do plan to reach out to our 2 United States senators, who, by the way, are very friendly on dog hunting issues. If you walk into Senator Tillis's office, he's got a bear rug that he killed in front of dogs right behind his couch. I mean, he's very friendly towards hunting. Senator Budd owns a gun shop. I mean, great Second Amendment guy. So love him or hate him, those 2 are friendly on wildlife and hunting issues.